नमस्कार, सुप्रभात र गुड मर्निङ नेपाल। शुक्रबारको बिहानी भइसकेको छ र रमाइलो गुड मर्निङ नेपाल टिम रमाइला प्रस्तुताहरू लिएर यहाँहरू सामु उपस्थित पनि भइसकेको छ। आज बिहान कुरा गर्नुपर्दा बिहान सूर्योदय 6 बजेर 47 मिनेटमा भएको थियो भने सूर्यास्त साँझ 5 बजेर 48 मिनेटमा हुनेछ। त्यस्तै गरेर अब के बसन्त पञ्चमी लागिसकेपछि चाहिँ जाडो कम हुन्छ भनेर भन्थे, त्यस्तो त लागेको छैन। के छ त आजको टेम्परेचर र वेदर समीरबाट?
अब बसन्त पञ्चमी लाग्यो भनेर भनिदिइहाले सरिताले हुँदै 2 हप्ता भइसक्यो क्यारे। तर पनि दर्शकहरूलाई नमस्कार। अब बसन्त पञ्चमी यता वेदर राम्रो हुँदै गइरहेछ र इम्प्रुभमेन्टको क्रम जारी छ। तर त्यति भन्दा भन्दै देशका विभिन्न ठाउँमा पहाडी भागहरूमा चाहिँ के भइरहेछ भन्दाखेरि बिहान एकदम खुला हुने दिन, दिउँसो हुँदै गएपछि बादल बढ्दै जाने तर पानी नपर्ने। त्यसले गर्दा दिन चिसो हुने चाहिँ नि हाम्रो अहिले देखाएको छ। त्यो माघको लागि एकदम स्वाभाविक हो। तपाईँले धेरै गाली नगर्नुहोस्, माघ भनेको त्यस्तै हुन्छ। र तर बिस्तारै बिहानको तापक्रम तपाईँले हेर्नु पनि बढ्दो छ र तराईमा स्थित लेभल एकदमै घटिसकेको छ। त्योभन्दा भन्दै काठमाडौँमा आज बिहान तापक्रम 6 डिग्री पुगेको थियो। भनेको मतलब पहिले 3-4 वटा बढ्दै 6 पुगेको छ, बढ्ने क्रम जारी छ। तर दिउँसो फेरि त्यो बादलहरू लागेर तापक्रमलाई अलिक कन्ट्रोल गर्छ, 17को हाराहारीमा रहन्छ। त्यही भन्दै मैले सरितालाई फ्लोर ह्यान्डओभर गरेँ।
एकदमै आज शुक्रबारको दिन कुरा गर्नुपर्ने कुराहरू कति धेरै छन्। हामीसँग अतिथि पनि हुनुहुन्छ र आजदेखि कान्तिपुर कन्क्लेभ जुन हामीले टिभीमा बारम्बार प्रोमोहरू पनि बजाइरहेका थियौँ, आज र भोलि हुँदैछ। र यही कान्तिपुर कन्क्लेभमा एउटा सेसनमा किनोट स्पिकर भएर बोल्नुहुने अतिथि आज हामीले हाम्रो सोमा लिएर आएका छौँ। उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ पठाओका को फाउन्डर र सिइओ हुसैन एलियस। उहाँलाई हामीले लिएर आउने नै छौँ। तर अहिले भने हामी आज साँझका कार्यक्रमहरू हेरौँ। यी भए आजका हाम्रा साँझका कार्यक्रमहरू र अघि हामीले भनेको जस्तो हाम्रो अतिथि हामीसँग आइसक्नु भएको छ। उहाँलाई गुड मर्निङ नेपालमा स्वागत गरौँ। मिस्टर एलियस, वेलकम टु आवर शो।
Thank you for inviting me over here.
So, as we introduced you, you are the CEO of Pathao. Now, Pathao is very popular in Nepal. I'm sure it must be very popular in Bangladesh also. Can I ask you, what has Pathao's experience in Nepal been so far since you started?
So, it has actually been, in one word, amazing, right? Because, so when we started off, we had a very, very small team. We just wanted to pilot it. We did not know if, Nepal would be a good fit for Pathao. But as soon as we launched, within, I think, a month, we were doing a couple of thousand rides, right? And Pathao continues to grow in Nepal even to this day.
Wow.
Okay, now going back to how it started, and the name itself is very catchy, Pathao, and we could relate it here also. How did this start?
So, initially we actually started off as a delivery company, right? That's why it's Pathao, right?
Oh.
Send.
Okay.
Yeah. But we realized that, if you can just, you can send parcels, but you can also send people, right? Especially, especially in the morning commute or in the evening commute when there's a lot of traffic jam. So at first we started off in Dhaka, and Dhaka also is this pretty big city, and there's a lot of traffic jam over here and very poor infrastructure. And there was not a big motorcycle culture in Dhaka at that time. So we started, and it also caught on very, very quickly. We launched our second city also in 2017, and in 18 I came into Nepal one of these days in a vacation, and I saw that, hey, you know what? It's also very similar to Dhaka. There is a lot of traffic jam, and there is a lot of bikes. So we partnered up with a team over here, and we launched in 2018, and it's been going strong ever since.
Wow. So basically your experience has been very good so far. Yeah. What are the, what I'm trying to ask you is, starting out is always difficult. Yeah. Did you face any difficulties when you're starting out in Nepal?
In Nepal. I think, you know, something that is always very new also has a lot of challenges associated with it, because as you're new and you're starting it out, there is no rules, regulations around it, right? So I'll just give you a context. In Bangladesh, when we started off, also there was, you know, we were new, we were one of the first motorcycle-based ride-sharing company over there, and there wasn't a lot of rules and regulations. But we were eventually worked with the government over there and formed the Ride Sharing Act of 2017.
Okay.
Right? So we came from a very, very gray area where it was neither legal nor illegal. So it was a gray area to a much more whiter area. So we became the first ride sharing company which was enlisted with the government, right? As of, I think, in January. We also think that in Nepal, it also presents a lot of opportunity, right? This is very new in Nepal, but you know, innovation comes first and then regulations come later on, usually. So we're very excited to work with the government over here as well and form and bring it into a framework, bring it into a structure, so that there are thousands of drivers who work with us and hundreds of thousands of customers who use Pathao daily. Right? We want to give them a good service, and we want to give them a service within the framework of law.
Yeah, it says that more than 15,000 users use Pathao Ride every day, and more than 500,000 times the apps has been downloaded here in Nepal. So is it only based in Kathmandu, or Pathao is outside Kathmandu also?
So right now, so the numbers first of all is much larger now, because we continue to grow. Right? But right now we are operating only in Kathmandu. I think it's been only a few months since we launched our four-wheeler service over here as well, right? And I think that has a long way to go. But we also want to launch other new services, both in Kathmandu, and also try to figure out a way to expand outside of the city as well.
Other new services as in?
We'll have to see, right? But in Bangladesh, we have a lot of different services. We have e-commerce logistics, which we started off with. We have food delivery as well, right? So anything with two-wheelers, anything that moves, that's what that's how we see Pathao as, right? It provides a logistical infrastructure.
So when you started in Bangladesh, what was your motivation? Because obviously it started from Bangladesh. This is just a traffic jam, but you must have got some motivation for like service like Uber and all that.
So so here's what happened, right? My house was in one side of Dhaka, and my university was on the other side of Dhaka, right? And it was a 7-kilometer journey, and it used to take 2, sometimes 3 hours, right? And it's just 7 kilometers. So sometimes walking was faster. And I used to go by bus, and I used to see, hey, all the motorcycles are just zooming past. So I thought that, hey, you know what? Maybe I can start something like this. Initially, when we started, we did not really have an app, right? It was just me and a couple of my friends. And we got like 5 bikes together, and we just asked people to hop on board and get back to their home from their universities. But it caught on, and once we launched the app, that's when it changed the game, right? Because we're able to onboard a lot of drivers. So what makes me very, very happy and very, very proud is not the service that we provide to the customers, but also the thousands of drivers that we have, because this is not something that I realized when I started off, but something that came on was that this makes a very good earning opportunity, right? So a lot of people who were either unemployed or underemployed, right, can now earn using Pathao. And I've heard a lot of good stories coming from these drivers, right? We don't see them as drivers, we see them as entrepreneurs, because they bring their own bike and they work within their own time. And as they earn, they also save up, and sometimes they move on to a better job eventually. And we're very, very happy to support them.
We've definitely heard lots of good things about Pathao, and as a Pathao users, how convenient it has made their lives. But the first thing comes as a service user is, how safe is it? Like, who's the driver that or the person that's riding the motorcycle? How safe it is? That's the issue that I hear most of the time. How do you screen that?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, right? And safety is our #1 concern. All right, So what we do is we definitely, for a driver, when we onboard them, we definitely do some sort of a background check. We check if they have the valid licenses and a good vehicle to drive on. And as we onboard them, we also train them. Even while they are giving rides, we also see how the customer feedback, right? The more customer feedbacks that we get about a driver, the more we know if he's a good driver, if he's a bad driver, if he's professional, unprofessional, sometimes if he's clean or not, right? And we use that feedback to also determine if he should continue to be in our platform. There is also, however, it's on the road, right? So there is always a lot of risk associated with it. But again, we take a lot of steps to curb that. So if you feel, some sort of risk, you can obviously share your location with your friends. And in Dhaka, we provide insurance as well in Bangladesh. Okay. That's something we also want to provide in Nepal, right? I think as the legislation or the regulation comes into effect, we will be able to provide insurance services both for the riders as well as for the customers.
Speaking of legislatures and regulations, there was a big lot of noise a few months ago where the government was trying to ban basically Pathao and Tutul from operating. What's the situation right now?
So right now we're not banned, so that's good.
That's good.
But again, it's an evolving situation, right? Like any country where this service is in, right? Nepal is not really the first country, right? It is so the service, ride sharing as a service started all the way from United States, Europe, it's in Africa, it's everywhere, right? I think there is always a time lag between when a service like this is introduced, because this is not something that has been here, right? And the motor vehicle acts, they're all very, very old. I think it's time for a way to reframe it or to relook in the modern context of how these services work, right? So as I said before, in Bangladesh as well, we helped the government actually make a regulation, right? We'd like to do the same over here. We think, obviously, we have a lot of respect for the government over here and the people and the culture over here, and we want to work over here. Because at the end of the day, what we are providing is a service, right? We're providing a service to the users. Hey, you know what? There's a lot of traffic, people need to move. We are providing a service to the drivers where they have a way of earning, right? Whether they be unemployed or underemployed. And I think and that has been evident in the support that we have had from the people over here, and would love to continue to have that support because we're in the service industry.
Absolutely.
True, and let's hope the government also associates and then in the days to come makes it easier for their people. We have, as I said earlier, we've heard a lot of good things about Pathao, but as a CEO, what are the things that makes it difficult, or the things that you have to deal with which you think is tough?
I think, as a CEO, there's a lot of different things. When we started off with, it was much simpler, right? It was just a few people on a bike, and I used to tell my friends, hey, go pick this person up, drop that person over here. It was much easier to control. But the teams become larger and larger, which makes it harder to manage. However, thankfully, we have a great team, right? And I don't think we would have been as successful, or I would have been over here if it wasn't for the team itself, right? Especially the local team that we have in Nepal is amazing. It's like all Nepali people, and thankfully, they understand the culture over here much, much better, because even though there's a lot of similarities, there's also a lot of differences which they're able to navigate and help us with.
Now, you're here for the Kantipur conclave.
Yeah.
And you're speaking tomorrow.
Yep.
So, just in a very summary, what is the angle you're planning to give your keynote address? So where do you want to take that conversation tomorrow?
So, So the topic of the Kantipur Conclave this time is reimagining connectivity, right? And I want to emphasize on that connectivity, right? On how to use technology to connect people more, bring people closer, and not just bring people closer, right? It's not just about social media, but also it's about, you know, what other things that you can do, what other services can you provide, right? Without a platform such as Pathao, right? And we operate purely in the digital space, right? We do not own any vehicles, we do not employ any drivers. Having a platform like Pathao also brings people together, right? It provides people with jobs, it provides people with transportation service, and maybe many others in the future, right? We just want to make, how can people's life be tangibly better, right? Not just, you know, media, but also how can we provide a tangible benefit to people? That's through connectivity, through technology. I think that's what I'll try to talk about.
That's very motivating, but as we're talking about technology, and if we relate it with Pathao, so is it only for youngsters who are good with apps and all those things, or who is your clientele?
Of course not. I think, no. As the nature of our service means that there's a lot of people who are using it, right? So, you know, I'll give you a story. So I think a few months ago, even in Kathmandu itself, a lot of differently able drivers have been onboarded to drive for Pathao, right? And that's something that makes us very, very proud. And in terms of customers, I would say that, you know, we have customers from all segments of life, right? And males, females, young, old, all sorts of people use it, and it continues to grow. I think, you know, the nature of the product, right, is transportation. Everyone needs to move.
Of course.
So as more and more people come on board and it gains more and more acceptance, we only hope to continue growing and be better.
You know, you have been in now 2 countries, right? What are your plans for other countries? Because in South Asia is full of motorcycles. And not only South Asia, Southeast Asia also. You look at Thailand and all that also, or Vietnam. A lot of motorcycles, and this is a very interesting concept. Are any other countries doing something similar to Pathao besides Nepal and Bangladesh?
So I would say that the concept of Pathao is not, you know, it's innovative in this part of the world, but it is not really, we're not the first ones, right? So whether it be in Indonesia or Vietnam, there are services like that, that exist already, right? And we are seeing more and more of these services pop up just because of the value add. For Pathao, I would say that we want to continue to, you know, invest and establish ourselves in these 2 markets. I think, you know, Bangladesh is a pretty big market. Nepal as well is a wonderful market for us. I think Kathmandu as a city has as many bikes as Dhaka does.
Probably,
right? And Dhaka has much bigger population. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for growth over here.
Right, fair. But no, sorry.
Sure, please.
So any other countries that you want to move to, or you're planning to?
It's always, you know, always open. But again, like, just want to focus on these 2 countries and probably bring in more services over here.
Okay, fair enough.
Just out of curiosity, right now Pathao is from 6 to 11, right?
Yeah.
Are there any chances of them going 24 hours?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I think the team over here has decided to curb it in that time for focus on safety.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But, you know, once we feel comfortable that, hey, you know what, our drivers who are driving late at night or customers who are riding late at night, they're both safe, we'd definitely open it up.
I just had a question. Like, Nepal government is trying to, has been planning to introduce helmet for the pillion riders.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are Pathao's plans? Have you thought about that? Installing it yourself, even before waiting for the legislation?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think that is actually important. If, you know, we cannot say that we're committed to safety, but cannot provide helmets, right? We'd definitely love to work with the government, and in fact, probably bring it in earlier.
Okay. So
I think it's already in the apps. It always asks you.
It asks you.
Yeah, did they provide you the helmet or not?
Versus making it mandatory.
So here's the little bit over here, right? So because we're a technology platform, right? We try to enforce it, but again, when they're on the road, when the drivers are on the road, we need the traffic police or the people over here to actually enforce it. Right. So yes, we can provide the helmets, but the enforcement of the helmet is a partnership. Right? And I don't think it should be just limited to Pathao itself, right? It should be for any ride-sharing company or any motorcycles at all, right? I believe it's already in the law and it needs to be enforced.
Just a better curiosity, what if you were to give some extra refund or something like that for those motorcycle riders, allowing pillion riders to wear helmets? Something like that.
Good idea.
Anyway,
something to think of. Yeah, something to ponder upon. Again, the things that you shared with us is so motivating, and you're a role model to a lot of youngsters. Sometimes, you know, we get frustrated and we think like maybe going to some other country for further education or work is the best option. What do you have to say to our youth here?
Yeah. See, I think that's a very common thing as well, not just in Nepal, but also in Bangladesh, right? But you know, since we are in a developing country doesn't always mean negative things, right? I think there's a negative connotation that we learn from very early on. Developing means is developing now, and this is the place to be.
True.
Right?
So true.
And as the country is developing, we are the ones, the youth are the ones who can actually grow and lead the country forward. I think I've met a lot of people who come from outside of Bangladesh or outside of Nepal to work over here because the opportunity over here is so much better, right? The entire economy is growing, and hey, if you are starting out at the bottom, you grow with the entire economy, right? A rising tide lifts all ships.
Absolutely. Very well spoken. Well, I think it's almost time for us to go.
Again, good luck for your tomorrow's session. Hopefully we'll also be able to make it.
Yes.
Awesome.
It was awesome having you in our show. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. And in the days to come, I am one of the Pathao users. I don't know if you have ever done or not.
I've used it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's focus on safety, and again, good luck for everything. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
कुराकानी गर्दा गर्दै हाम्रो जाने बेला पनि भइसकेको छ। भोलि संसारबार बिहान फेरि हामी कन्क्लेभसँगै रिलेटेड अतिथिलाई लिएर यहाँ सामु आउने छौं।
आज पनि कन्क्लेभ सुरु हुन लाग्छ भन्ने पनि तपाईहरुलाई थाहा छ होला।
मैले सुरुमै भनिसके।
फेरि पनि रिमाइन्डर।
अलराइट, यसका साथसाथै हामी अब अंग्रेजी समाचारतिर लागौं र भोलि बिहान 8 बजे फेरि गुड मर्निङ नेपालको टिम यहाँ सामु आउने नै छ। यहाँहरुको शुक्रबार एकदम रमाइलो बितोस्। नमस्कार।
नमस्कार।
Hi everyone, thank you for watching our show Good Morning Nepal on YouTube. To get more updates, hit the bell icon and subscribe us, send us comments, like us, tell us what you feel. Thank you everyone.